Hello, hello! And welcome to the Artisan of the Glimmith puzzle game by Lenarch Studios. As you may know, if you have been watching this channel for a long while, back in September of 2024, I think? Let me just double check that. I just double checked it and I need to double check it again. 2023, September 2023, I played a game called Islands of Insight, or the public playtest version of it. Puzzle games have been combined successfully with a few different genres. Tunic showed that you could combine puzzle games with Metroidvanias. Blueprints, of course, a very popular puzzle game combined with a roguelike. But Islands of Insight attempted puzzle game combined with an MMO, and I thought at the time that that was a step too far, and indeed it was. Only a year after I played the public playtest version of the game, the servers went offline, the game was retooled from an MMO into a single-player thing, in a kind of weird way, because it was never originally intended to be that. But fortunately, the developers have decided to have another crack at it, and they've ditched the MMO thing, which I think is a good idea personally, and they've kind of retooled some of the concept with a different puzzle mechanic into this game. And hopefully, it is good. Click and drag to explore. Oh, I'm not running around as a guy either. You have a whole top-down clicky-draggy kind of thing. It's more different than I thought it might be. I thought I was going to be running around again. Progress is saved automatically. Hey look, there is a puzzle. Dearest esteemed Artisan, thank you for accepting my invitation to restore the artworks of Glimmith. On that point, I have only one request. When shaping each piece of glass, you must follow the rules very closely. I care only about the shapes. Let your creativity run free with the colours. Yours truly, Elias Vidamus. It is not a puzzle. It is merely a scroll. This is a puzzle, though. Whee! Long bridge. Very long bridge. All regions must be this shape. It's a square tetronymo. Very good. All regions must be this shape. Right-click and drag to erase. Bunch of stuff there to begin with. Don't need any of that. Shape should look like this. Shapes can be rotated. So far, so straightforward. This needs to be linked to that, this needs to be linked to that, this needs to be linked to that, that, and that. Choose colours freely, even after completing the panel. Well, I'll just have it on random. That seems fine. This needs to be like this needs to be like that has to connect there, that has to connect there, and it's done. What's this one down here? What's this one over here? Mirror reflections of shapes can also be used. Right, well that's got to look like that, that, and that. Aha. A difficulty 2. Well, the only way to get something here is to do this, 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 and this. And to get an achievement for it. Restoration progress. 7 out of 7, 7 out of 9. Any more hidden ones that I've missed then? Nothing up on that rock. Oh, there's one right there. Dearest Artisan, I hope this letter finds you in the best of spirits and creative fervour. There is much work to be done. These window frames show your restoration progress. Each glass work you restore contributes to a window. Complete windows to progress onward. Ah, there's one over there. Drag from corners along dotted lines to place metal borders. Use them to mark edges you are absolutely sure of. Well, that has to go like that. This, in order to fit in and not leave an awkward gap, has to go like that. That goes like that. Follow the camera around to find secret puzzles. There's one down there. There's one over here. Straightforward. It's silver now. And you down here. That's a weird shape. Yep. One like that. It's gold! Switch colours quickly with keys 1 to 9 or the scroll wheel. Scroll. Straight 3-liner, corner 3-liner. Corner, 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 straight. That's got to go like that, like that, like that, like that. We have... what do you even call that? An S tetronymo? Well, no, a lot like that. Complete the entire panel in border drawing mode if you prefer. Clear. Clear lines. Controls. Color, color, color. Paint bucket. Input mode. It's fine. It's fine how it is. Quick check around. Don't think I'm missing anything though. Shift click or middle click to place metal borders around an entire shape. Mark regions that you're absolutely sure of. Ah, I see. Didn't actually want to do that though. Well, this has got to go like that. Ooh. How do I mark that? Like that. And of course it needs to go like that. That I'm not quite sure yet. That and that will be like that. Okay, it's 3 long. You're kind of trying to hide down there. The camera cannot be rotated. Bunch of stuff over here. Bunch of stuff over there. Bunch of stuff every which way. I have to make super duper sure I don't miss anything, because if I do, it might be awkward to find later. I see you down there. How do I even get a good angle on you? From over here. What's a difficulty 4? Straight lines 3, 4, and 5. Well, that has to do that. That has to do that. That's got to be like that, which means that has to be like that. That's like that. That's set in stone. One there, one there, one there. That's set. That's set. This is set because that needs to come up like that. The only way to get to that is from there. You have to be joined to that. You and you are set. You are set. Any way to get to that is from there. That's got to be at least that long. You are being a bit awkward to get to, so I've got to do that, and you are 5 long. Up you up here. Squares! Well, let's go from the corners, shall we? Those have to be at least that big. It's gonna be like this. Restore your second window. The first step here is not obvious. Instead of guessing, try joining cells that you know are connected. Well, that's got to be linked to that. You have to be like that, but I'm not sure if you're there or there quite yet. But I can mark this as being impossible. That has to go like that. It can't go that way, so... Woo. This has to be like that. It's got to curve out there. This must be that shape. If this goes down, it's going to leave an impossible gap, so it's got to go that way. That goes down, that goes across, and those go like so. Borders must always separate two different regions. Hold on. Can't do the same thing again there because of that single border. It's got to be like that instead. One. Each puzzle has a single unique solution. One like so. Puzzles can always be solved with logic. Guessing is never required. It's got to do that. It's got to do that, that, and that. So far, so simple. Respected Artisan, your areas ahead contain a vast collection of glasswork designs, but fear not, you need only complete a fraction of them to restore the windows. If ambition beckons, complete more glassworks to metallicize the frames and reveal extra challenges. If you thoroughly master an area, its frame will become gilded. Left or right? Let's go left. Each region contains exactly one of each symbol. Okay. Like so. Okay, we need 5 regions. You, I think it makes sense to start going out that way. You could be linked like that. Yeah, this is gonna work fine. Just intuited that one. You can't be linked there, so you're going to have to go down this way, and you might as well connect to that. Press Q to flood an entire region with color. Or I can just solve the puzzle and it auto-completes. That works too. Okay, you and you cannot be linked. You've got to come across this way. You cannot be linked. You've got to come across this way. That completes that region. Border here, border here, border here. You drag down. Hold on. Restart. That's not going to work. You've got to be more like this. 20 puzzles for that window. Single region can never touch both sides of a border. It's got to swirl around then. The difficulty 1-1 first. I'm coming up that way. Yeah. Oh, that lit up a ton of them. Tons of puzzles. Okay. That's got to hook up with the U. May as well come down there and grab that. Good enough. Strap you for that window. That's a larger one. I can't zoom. Well. You just kind of have to be... No, that's not going to work. That way, then. Because I need that blue one to not touch another blue one. I can go like that, though. Like that, perhaps? Kind of guessing and hoping for the best. But it's only a difficulty 2, so... that does just work. Oh. All regions must be T-shaped, and each region must contain one symbol. That way is impossible. That way, then. Big rectangles. I think I want to do that. I can't go up, because that would make an awkward region there. You kind of are going to have to look like that. It's these two that are awkward. This does go up, but this covers that way, this goes that way. L-shaped. Can go one there. One there, one there, one there, one there, one there. Still not having to think too hard about any of these. That 4 down there I might need to. Possibly. Okay. Let's work from over here, because I think that gives me the best start. I can do that. This needs to link to something. Not that. Bringing that way is the obvious answer. But whether that's the correct answer is up for debate. You need a blue. You need a blue and a red. You cannot have that red. I think you need to connect to this one up here. That's a little bit awkward. That would force something like this. think you connect over there, you go up this way, and then you grab that. Not too bad. Ooh, a 1. Oh, there's a ton of borders I can mark on. You have to be a 1. You could be a 4 pointing that way. This has to be a 1, it just doesn't fit. In order to get something over here, I'm gonna need to do that. This is a 1. That needs to connect to something, it must connect to that. And from here, it just kind of solves itself. Restore the Rose Windows window. Nope, nope. Line there. You need this green, because you can't get through here. So you have to grab that. And then I can make use of the fact I know the solution is unique. Meaning I need this area to grab this blue, because if it grabs this blue, then this line would be multiple solution-y, which is impossible. So let's grab that blue. This has to grab that blue. Grab that red. And from there it's done. That's a lot of symbols. That's quite nice. I can draw in a lot of lines. Lines here, lines all the way up there. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Could be that way or that way. It has to be like that. This is a square. Like so. Do, 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 20. Looks to be more than 20 to me. Not necessarily. That is like that. Let's just bring you right the way around the outside like this. There we are. More borders. Draw them in all of the gaps. Not coming up this way. You have to go like that. You have to go like that. You have to go down. You have to go down. You down. It cannot link here. It cannot link here. It has to come this way. That has to go down. Can't go there. Can't go there. You have to grab you. You're probably just done with that region. You need to go that way. Join there, you come across, go across again. You need to go down, that halts you here, you can't have that or that, you grab that blue. That goes down, down. Can't grab that. That region does indeed end there. Going all the way across. You can't have that. I think you're probably going to dip down there. Goes down, this grabs that, can't have that. Yeah, that's gonna grab that one, that's gonna grab that one, you, and you in the middle. Should be easy. Can't have that or that, must go there. You must be this region, you must be this region. Easy indeed. Still weird that these haven't lit up at all. Okay, let's deal with these reds down here. These are kind of restricted in what ways they can start going in. I think that's gonna have to be like that. I think you just take that whole area. Yeah. It does indeed. Oh, hi. Okay. It's got to be like that. That has to be like that. The only way you're gonna fit is like so. Like so. Like so. Yeah, a lot of this is very obviously forced. There's all the ones lighting up that I was missing. 33. Mm-hmm. Where do I even begin? Well, the only way that shape can go is like that, because all the other directions would bring it in contact with another red. It has to be like that. Makes that awkward, though. makes that very awkward. Is that even possible? I'm not convinced. I think it's gonna have to be like this. This is still annoying. How does this work? I think it has to be like that. And that can go like that. And then that can go like that. Do-do-do-do-do. And semi-complete a lot of this. Easy. Easy every time. You need to go like that, because you can't form a 3. You have to form a 3. So do you. That has to connect like that. Like that. Not necessarily. That has to be that. That does that and that and that. That will work. That will not work. That will work. Full of symbols again. What's the best place to begin here? I don't see a great starting point. Well, look, that has to go that way, because it can't grab more than one of these. Well, that's not true. That does that. It's probably not going to work down here. This has to grab a yellow that it can't get to. That's all wrong. That could go like that. Can it go down? This needs a yellow. No area can be bigger than 4. It's just not going to work. So the only yellow I can get to is that one. So it has to be that. This now only has one yellow it can get to. This only has one yellow it can get to. There. 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 Six! Let's maybe save that 5 and 6 for last. Okay. I know that I can't go through here because of that border. Well, I can't go through there either. Right, you are. Has to do something like that then. How is that not going to lead to at least 2 different solutions? So I could also do... No, I can't because... Okay, I can't because of that border. Fine, that is unique. Just take that whole area? Nope. Nope. There is border. There is still border. You cannot have that area. I got a bit messy back there. More like that then. This has to go down here. That'll work. That shape is very forced. Okay, it's another game of messing with the borders and not letting something touch the other thing. It's got to grab that. And then this comes all the way back up there. Border here. There's only 2 areas again. That has to be green. This has to be green. Yeah, there are multiple shades of green. This has to be purple. So at some point these 2 kind of have to move past one another. How is that even gonna work? How is this gonna work? Okay, well... You have to do that. Can't grab that yellow. I can't do this because that box is this area in. Ooh, actually, what if? What if? But what if? It's got to connect down there. This comes up and hits that. Hold on. Take that yellow like that. There it goes. Ooh, I can't go up. I can't go up. Which means I've got to navigate through this area like that, and like that. This has to be part of that area. This has to... Youch. Youch! Restart. Let's make this area yellow and this one green. That has to be green. That has to be yellow. The only way to do that is to get yellow all the way around there and green all the way around here. Yellow doesn't need that, so green can have it. Yellow does need that, though. And green does need that, which it can have. Hello. Haha! Difficulty 5 and 6 puzzles are very challenging. They may require careful logic, advanced techniques, and lots of persistence. Early break-in steps may be difficult to spot. Optional will come back later if you get stuck. Difficulty 5. Okay. There are 3 regions. There are 3 of each shape. Well, I don't know. How does a lot of this connect? That's the challenge. This can't connect to you. So I think it makes more sense to do that. It's going to take that red. Probably come around here. Probably. But it can't take that red. Ooh, how is that shape going to get to a yellow from this position? It would need to go all the way around the edge. It would need to do that. Which seems a bit awkward. Can grab that easily enough, though. I could do that. You're also missing green. That's easily enough corrected. This can do that, but I can't grab that blue because of the border. Ooh. I don't think that's an easy mistake to fix. It's close, but it doesn't work. It's pretty unfixable looking. There's a border around here somewhere. There's a border around here somewhere. Things here can't be part of very nearby areas to themselves. I don't know which of these two it makes more sense to attach. No, am I even gonna see it again later? It's in an awkward place. It's this 5. Oof. This seems maybe a little bit more easy to understand to start with. Because I can do a ton of that. This has to hook upwards. One of each symbol. This has to go like that. It simply must. This has to go like that. This has to go like that. I think the only thing I can do with you is this. At least if it makes any sense at all. This is in an awkward spot now. Can't do that though. This, I don't know whether or not it hooks upward yet. What's this spot linking to? It must link to up here. But that leaves this in an impossible form. Has to go like that. It must be that then. And then that. And then that. That can do that. Doesn't hit there. I could go up here. I could go here. Where's this cell going? Where is this cell going? So I've got this region incomplete, that's why that's not making sense. That was easier than the other one. Difficulty 6. Let's chop through some of these easier ones. There's a 1 here. Forced to do that, forced to do that, that. Grab that anyway, so no. No. You're grabbing that because you can't do that. You can't do that neither. Huh, how is this gonna work? Because I can't do that. I can't do that. They both need to squeeze through that one gap, but that's impossible. What do I do about that? I make it one region. That's what I do about that. It needs a yellow, but it can't grab that yellow, so it has to grab that yellow. Bada bing, bada boom. Goes up, blocks off, goes up, goes down. Can't go that way, can't go that way. Can't go that way. Can't go that way. Can't go that way. You can't do that, all that. I'm gonna grab that, but you can't go that way. Not sure where you're going next, if anywhere. You can't go anywhere. You need a blue. It's gonna need to be that one. It's purple again. 4 zones. You need a green. You can't get to the green from down here because it covers 2 blues, so it's going to need to come out this way somehow, meaning there has to be a line there. You're going to grab that. You can't go that way. That blue can't go down, so you've got to have that blue. You can't have that red, though. You can't have the green, because that would leave a 1-block gap there, so that's got to be blocked. This needs more things, but can't get down here because of this red, so it's got to go across this way. And that goes across that way. Can't have that, so it goes down, goes across. Still has to pick up a green. Can't have that. Can't have that. Can't have this green because that locks that red in. It's an area all of itself. Can't go up because that locks this blue and this red in, so it's got to grab this one. You grab that, you grab that, you grab that, and you're done. Big empty area. Can't go up. Can't grab that. Can't grab that either. Which means it has to go. You've got to get out. Because you can't have any of that. Something else is over here. These 3 wide wires are using up a lot of space. Coming out that way, I think. I don't know what this is attaching to yet. Could be that. Can't be that. This has to do that. Maybe. This maybe has to do that. It doesn't. This is doing that. This is going... What have I done? What is this? What is this mess? This can't be right. That's multiple solutions. Ugh. blocked. It's doing something there. What if you do that? And that. You can have that blue. You can have that blue, and you can have this blue. Sneaky paths! Yeah, that's 33, apparently. But yet there are more. There's only 3 regions, which makes this crossroads interesting. Because 2 of these diagonal zones have to be connected. There's a bunch of blue. Awkward. Well, what if it's just like that? Why not? Alright. 4 zones here. These borders are interesting. Does it mean something else has to come and grab them? See, this has to get around here, because it can't be that or that. Or it's that. But I don't think that's possible in the slightest. Oh, no. Let's have... Back. Let's have this zone grab you. That means you can grab you. Purple wiggles into one of those gaps. It's only really 2 big areas and 2 1-block gaps. 33 plus 2. Alright then, let's look at the 6. It's huge! Well, there's the odd war. There's a bit being forced down here, because that can't go up, must go down, must go here, can't grab you, must go here, you've got to come across. This has to do that, but then can't touch that. And then it goes up again. This can't have that red, so it needs to go all the way around. This has to grab that. There are 7 regions. You're a whole different other region again. Come on across like that. You've got to go out that way. You can't have that. It's got to grab that, because it's got to get out through here anyhow. Don't know what colour you are yet. Well, that's a bit of work. What's happening down here? Yeah, okay. Because it does at least save my progress. That's good. Yeah, I don't know what I'm doing with these. I will come back later, I think. What are you doing? Optional. All windows must be complete. Let's just go and grab this right side path, shall we? 2 regions touching this symbol must be the same shape. Okay. And they can be the same shape. Which is good, because it has to be. Two regions touching this symbol must be different shapes. No matter. Okay, we've got a bunch of lines here which are forced. Same shape. Same shape, not different shape. It's not necessarily the same shape. It could be like this, for instance. You have to be a square. You have to be not a square. Which means you have to be a square. Bada bing, bada boom. Bada ding, bada doom. Same shape. Different shape. Same shape. Different shape. It has to be a 3. This has to be a 3, but it can't go that way, so it must go up. 2, 2, 3. crosses a bunch of that. Goes across, must go down, must go across. Fine, fine, fine. You over there. No shapes are forced. That could be 2 1s. You're a different shape than a 1. Or a 2. You're like that. Okay, yeah, we're gonna come back to out here then. There's a bunch around here already. And over here. They're everywhere. This will be that. This has to be a different shape. The 2 won't fit here, so it's gonna need to be you. It's gotta be 1 1. This has to be a 1. This has to be like that. That has to be like that. I think that makes sense. That can be a 1. These can all be 1s. Same shape. That's gonna force a lot of 3 longs. Maybe only 2 of them. Leaves one on its own, which isn't allowed, so it's going to have to be like that, and like that, and like that. Stuck on blue. Little curve, medium-sized curve, bigger curve. Forced up again. I think it has to go like that. That makes sense to go like that. And then just fill in the gaps. A 1. At least a 2, maybe more. It's also at least a 2. One of these shapes has to get larger. This has to start going down. This can't go down because that would force that to go down, which it doesn't. So that's going to go like that. That's going to go like that. That can't go like that. What have I done wrong? It's like that. It's even bigger than I thought it was. 1. Can't be a 1. Can't be a 1. These must be the same shape. Which is gonna force some weirdness here. Need a 3 long, need a 3 long. There it goes. A 1. Easy. That did that window already. 21 for silver. Okay, well that has to be that, which forces that. That has to be that, which forces that, which forces this and this. But not this. This has to go up 1 because we need a 1 there, which means that has to be a larger 1. And then plug the gaps. It's weird how these two still haven't lit up yet. What's up with that? It's a 2. It's a 3. But if I make it that 3, then the 3 would have to go here, meaning a 3 would have to go here, which it doesn't. So this 3 must be going downward. This 3 has to go downward as well. Which means I need a 3 here. And a 2 here. Gotta go like that, meaning this has to be a 3, meaning we need a 3 there. Fill in the gaps. So the way down there. It's that random 1 off on its own. Huh, pre-filled sections. Or just blank gaps in the canvas. That has to do that, that has to do that. This has to not be a 3. Don't know yet whether that's going down or not. Anything to do here is one of those. This is not going down. This is going down. It's to go like that. 2s, 2s, 4s. 4s. 2s. Twos, twos, fours, twos, twos. Maybe I should release this on Tuesday. Nah. That was easy. That has to go like that, this has to go like this. This cannot be that shape, it must be that shape, meaning that that is forced. I think I'm doing that, 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 and that. Let's get you up here before I forget. Ooh. Okay, each section needs one of each shape. But where do I begin? Let's just place things and see what happens. It doesn't work. I quickly run into an issue. That's what happens. Works so far. But now I've run into a snag. Yeah, these two, I think. They force me to do something like that. But then we have a similar issue here. So... what if that? And get... An annoying one. What about this? That's a weird shape. Two of each shape in a section. This board is going to be the one that forces things. long have I been going for? Hour and 25. I think this is probably a decent place to stop. I think I've also come to the executive decision that this probably isn't the most interesting game in the world to watch. So I think I'm gonna do just a single part on this. Because, yeah, I'm not commentating much interesting. But if you enjoyed what you saw, maybe consider picking the game up yourself. Thank you very much for watching. Stay safe, and until the next one, I shall see you soon.